This is a 360 photo of me at Niagara Falls. Not anymore, it's not. What this really is one of the coolest discoveries I've made recently, and it's called Snap Spheres. It's essentially Lego for 360 photos, and it comes in about 30 to 40 pieces, and you assemble them together into the sphere. Each piece is magnetic and it has indications on the bottom side about what goes where. The plus symbol of one piece joins up with the circle symbol of the next. And there we have it, a 360 photo the size of a small soccer ball, and it comes with this little thing you can display it with. No doubt this sounds really awesome, right? And you're totally like, shut up and take my money! But hold on a minute, because we need to talk about the price. This costs just as much as a cheap 360 camera, which means you're probably not going to get one of these for every 360 photo you've ever taken. With something like this, you'd only really want one of them, maybe your best 360 photo you've ever taken, so you have a nice little memento to put on your mantelpiece. Otherwise, Snap Spheres are out of most people's price range. I have actually found El Cheapo versions of this when searching Google and YouTube that are made of paper, and they're essentially like origami. You'll print out a 360 photo on a regular paper and fold it up so it turns somewhat into a sphere, although not really, because it's so difficult to make a sphere out of paper. And also the print quality ain't gonna be too good, which kind of, in my opinion, defeats the purpose of printing photos. There's also this method where you can assemble a 360 photo like an apple peel. This is something you'd need to order, and again, the end result just isn't really worth your time and money. There's also another brand I know of called Scandi, which is similar to Snap Spheres, except it comes as an entire ball. The quality is no doubt better because it's made of a fiberglass material. However, the sharpness of the images is really not great. Again, this might be something to consider as a one-off thing, but again, it's out of most people's price range. Unless you're a die-hard 360 enthusiast that would actually get value out of having a printed out 360 photo, or say if you work as a 360 photographer or videographer and you wanted to offer these to a client as, say, part of a package. If you were shooting someone's wedding as 360 photos or 360 videos, you could easily upsell them on a printed 360 photo, whether it be Snap Spheres or Scandi. The next method of printing 360 photos is something I discovered from my friend Daniel. You may remember him from this video. Here is my friend Daniel in the red shirt, and he's going to attempt a 360 shot with a DSLR in the middle of Shibuya Crossing. And Daniel is the only person I've ever heard of to do this, if not the only person in the world. Daniel prints out his 360 photos like this, and it feels really good quality, almost like a painting or a really professional print. When you look up close, it almost does look like a painting. This looks really fantastic. When I first saw this, I convinced him to start a business offering these prints because I know so many people would love a professional print like this hanging on their wall. So as we speak, Daniel is putting together a small startup business where he's going to offer these in all sizes, and his very first customer goes by the initials BC. Can you guess who it is? These are the next step up in price range from printed spheres because these could be considered as fine art and you could sell these. They're only going to be for a very small minority of people because the prices start at a few $100s, but it's not going to stop me from filling my whole house with these. I'll put links to Daniel's startup down in the description. He should be starting business within the next few weeks, so if it's something you see value in, then definitely pick one of those bad boys up. But you might be thinking, Mr. Ben, I don't have that kind of money. What do you think, I'm made of money or something? Well, neither am I. And that's why there's a really simple way of printing out your 360 photos that is probably really obvious. And that is going to your local office store and printing out square Tiny Planet photos. In these 3 envelopes, I have 117 of my Tiny Planet photos. I shortlisted my best photos from Instagram and printed them out. They're 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters and they cost $2.20 a print. These actually turned out surprisingly well. They're all shot with point and shoot cameras. So if you're on a budget, this is the best way to do it. Just reframe your 360s as tiny planets and print them out at your local office supplies store. With that said, I think we should put these bad boys on the wall and make my next amazing YouTube backdrop. This is the wall I'm filling with these 117 photos, and I'm going to be filling them sequentially in order that I shot them, which means the first photo added to the wall is my first Tiny Planet photo I've ever taken. I shot this on one of the very first Theta cameras, the Theta M15, a few years ago, and I was so proud of this thing. I could barely even afford this camera, but the results I got, it just blew me away. I didn't even mind being poor and not being able to afford to eat. I'm like, I can do this shit. How cool is this? So that's where my love of tiny planet photography began, with this very photo. With this one, I was at a driving range and I put my theta right in between the golf club and the ball. I had no idea how the photo was going to turn out. I just hoped for the best. And luckily, it turned out to be a pretty decent inverted planet. This was my first photo to get over 500 likes. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, this Instagram thing, it's taking off. 500 people liked this photo and it really got me excited about Instagram because I knew if I could break the 500 barrier, there would be many more barriers I could break from there. With this one, can you guess what I did? Yes, that's right. I stuck my camera into a popcorn bag. It was simultaneously the dumbest and smartest thing I'd ever done at that point. This one is one of my most iconic images and one of the simplest. I was in Winnipeg in 2015 in Canada and I went into a dead forest in about minus 30 degrees Celsius weather. I got my camera out, I took a selfie, I froze both hands clean off, then I ran back to my car and I downloaded my photo and I'm like, oh my God, I did it, yes! This one, it's pretty average, isn't it? But why it's special to me is it was the first time I ever made money from a tiny planet photo. I entered this into my gym's photo competition and there were about 10 or 11 entries total and most of them were gym selfies and really poorly taken phone photos. And when you compare a tiny planet to that, it won hands down. And I ended up with a nice little cash reward that I spent on some nice new gym clothes. This one is still one of my best photos ever. I shot this in Fiji and this was seconds after I finished parasailing on that very parasail there. And I had my Theta S connected to a gorilla pod at the top of the speedboat we were on. And I quickly ran down, connected to my phone, I switched into photo mode and snapped this photo as they were pulling in the parachute, resulting in this amazing action shot that I'm gonna be proud of forever. This was at the end of my first ever workshop that I held in LA. And this was our group photo I shot with the Theta V camera. And I think that turned out pretty darn good. There I am. And look who it is. Oh, it's 360 Rumors. Keep going, and it's your boy Hugh from Creator Up. Look at his long, luscious locks. I'm jealous. I shot this one in San Francisco, and I know you're seeing two, but it's really one. This is one single 360 photo that I edited in two different ways. This photo I took outside of Tokyo Tower, and it took me about 3 hours to take this photo because I couldn't find a single good angle of this damn tower. I tried shooting on every side of it. I tried shooting close, I tried shooting far, but it was always blocked no matter where I put the camera. I was so frustrated. And then I was on my way home, I'd admitted defeat. I was about to get on the train and I thought, you know what, I can still see it in the distance. Why not put the camera on the ground and put the tower between my legs as a metaphor for how I feel right now? And it turned out to be one of the best photos of my Tokyo trip. So this photo is going to serve as a reminder to never give up. There will always be an angle. You just need to go and find it. If you can't find an angle, make a photo like this, you'll probably find an angle. This is the very last photo I took before moving to my new place. And this is a photo of my new place just before I moved in. And this is the very last photo on the wall. This symbolizes the end of one adventure and the beginning of an exciting new adventure. This is my 360 journey so far. If you haven't started yours yet, there's no better time than now. I'll see you in the next one.